he'll try to pull off here, hopefully.
Have you calmed down a bit from the previous race? I was quite excited.
As you can clearly tell in my voice, I've calmed down quite a bit.
Good.
Hopefully we'll get some more hype here, and I will start screaming into the microphone, ruining your eardrums.
Perfect.
I won't actually do that, don't worry.
We'll try to give a headphone warning, and it looks like we're beginning.
So prologue is standard at this point, so it's just going to be a lot of jumping, because jumping is faster than running.
Yeah, it's around, 2 frames per jump?
I think something like
and
that.
Over a bunch of jumps, that will add up to 1 or 2 seconds that you gain.
Looks like we have a bit of a delay here with the streams that we're starting now, so hopefully we'll get that synced up. Having a bit of trouble here with the controls, so hopefully we'll get that fixed soon though.
No death so far in prologue. Revo is
Seems
kind
good,
of joking about dying in awkward ways, so hopefully he'll survive. And of course, now that we have a dash in Sonic's screen, we can start using this in very creative ways to maintain our momentum and go faster than you might have think. Of course,
Yeah,
there's stuff like hypers and supers, but we'll get there.
Yeah, so right away we're going to see a lot of usage of hypers and dash jumps from Sonic right now, and soon from Rev as well. And a lot of usage of wall bounces here in the first chapter. It just lets you get extra height and clear a bunch of obstacles a lot faster than normally.
Indeed. Of course, traffic blocks are kind of a thing here in Chapter 1, where they just move along the zip line when you touch them, but you see Rev already skipping a bunch of them with a wall bounce, so most of them will get ignored.
During this run, during this chapter, we only used about 2 or 3 of them, because most of them are really a lot quicker to just skip using.
Yeah, exactly. And it's mostly the wall bounces that you see a lot here. And of course on Revo's screen now an extended hyper, which allows you to regain your dash after a hyper, which basically breaks every level in the game.
Pretty much, yeah. We're gonna see in a couple of screens from Revo's side also the Sonic with the classic retry instead of skipping cutscene there.
It's already happened.
Revo now gonna go for this little spike jump here. Just jumping on the corner of the spike and actually on the spike to clear that. And then the neutral wall jumps here that lets you jump without stamina, of course.
Of course.
So 1 of 5 there from Revo. I didn't quite see Sonic's time.
Yeah.
Wasn't that much more.
According to Revo's timer, he was ever so slightly behind, but it's only City. It's the shortest level in the game, so that doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah. Moving into chapter 2, we're gonna start seeing the dream blocks here, of course. Sonic doesn't do the little glitch there. Revo's most likely gonna go for it because time saves.
Yeah, and he's Revo. He's always gonna go for the cool strats.
No, of course.
Oh,
nice little save there.
Yeah, hyper there, yeah.
Just a little skip cutscene glitch right there. Moving fairly fast throughout these levels here. Or through these rooms. Sonic now in the battle and fight. Seems like the stream is having a bit of an issue, unfortunately, but going through that little diagonal dash there to miss the spikes, very nice.
Yeah, he seems to be having issues with frame rate, but I'm sure we'll catch up eventually. Revo going for a slightly different strat here to get that 3-pixel window to go diagonally through the dream block.
Ooh, having
Eventually
a bit
has to
of
use
a
a
bump
backup
in there with battle line there. Cost him a little bit of a death, but he should still be on fairly good pace here.
Yes, certainly. Maybe not the pace he wanted to, but it's still a really good pace.
Of course.
And we see here a very long battle line room with a bunch of keys to make this switch block move out of the way, and taking a death here can be very costly, as it's such a long room. But it looks like both are making quick work. Oh, never mind, I cursed it. Revel with an unfortunate death there, but he should be able to still use it, and he dies again in the same spot actually. I should probably just stop talking about this room.
Yeah, do that. I'll do what it says. So we're going down here now. Sonic is actually in the Vex section now, and he's actually going to be a bit ahead Revo here because of those costly deaths coming out of both sides.
Yeah, definitely not the start Revo was hoping for, but he still has plenty of time to bounce back and catch up.
Absolutely. So moving into now the resort with the infamous cycles of dust bunnies that we're going to see here in just a second.
Just a little bit. And it still seems to be kind of annoying with the frame rate, but we'll try to see what happens.
For the most part, we should be able to know what happens just by looking at the timer. So Revo's now going to chapter 3 as well. Hopefully he can make up some of the lost time here.
Yeah. One of the more interesting mechanics that actually took me a while to figure out is that you regain your dash on screen transitions, which Revo uses here to grab a key.
Yeah, that's going to be important in a couple, in most of the chapters now, just to be able to preserve momentum and get extra momentum throughout the screen transitions, not just lose it. Most notably, there's actually a section coming up fairly soon where you have to sort of have your dash ready to go to get some coins. That's a bit after a huge mess, so it's still a way to go through there.
Also, right after this key here, if you hyper through transition, you can go underneath the spike there.
Yeah, so that's just a very interesting, a very cool mechanic, just allowing you to go very fast through the screen transitions. I believe you can't actually buffer dashes and such, so you still have to time it pretty well, which can take a bit to learn.
Revo using a cool backup there. Wonder if he's going for this corner boost here. Oh, almost got it, but barely missed.
Sonic now in the little huge miss section there with all the narrow pathways through these blocks that we have to clean up. One of the most annoying parts of speedrun, of course, because these narrow pathways just doesn't really let you use your dash as you want usually.
Yeah,
and Row are following suit as well.
And he's catching up quite quickly already. And of course I mentioned a corner boost earlier on, and that's just when you climb jump over a corner, and if you do it within the right pixels, you can actually preserve your momentum. And that's a quite recent addition due to a different fix, I think.
Yeah, they fixed a certain mechanic, which we can't really say because it contains an expletive, but basically corners would usually mess your movement up very harshly. But when they fixed that, they also introduced corner boost, which is now being used in several interesting ways to just gain a lot of momentum. And the task uses quite a lot to do some really cool strats.
Yeah.
So Revo is really catching up quite quickly now to Sonic. It's just a couple rooms behind at this point. So
yeah, they're in the same, well, almost the same huge mess section. Sonic just hit the button and talks with Oshiro for the second time, I think. Third time, actually.
Third time, yeah.
And this route is purely chosen because Oshiro lines up perfectly with the exits in this way. And that's generally faster.
Yeah, you want to spend as little time navigating that huge mess as you want, as you can, so going to where she responds first is...
I feel like there's a sexist joke in here about cleaning and stuff, but let's not.
Yeah, let's just not do that, thanks. Yeah, it is actually pretty close story. Revo had a couple of unfortunate deaths in the end of Old Sight, so Sonic is keeping it really close. Yeah, we're aware of this. Unfortunately, it's having some trouble, so we can't really...
as pointed out, if you look at IGTs, Revo is actually second or 30 ahead, because they're in similar rooms, but his timer is just behind by a half a minute. But still, this looks nicer. Syncing up the two races is always gives a nice feeling. Ooh, actually, some an annoying death, especially in a long room like this.
Ooh, another really unfortunate death there by Revo in the end. Man, Revo is having a bit of trouble here in these early chapters. Usually doesn't happen with him.
First, baby.
Yeah. Sonic is actually getting like a solid lead at this point. Revo is messing up quite a lot of movement.
Nah, he's losing a lot of time here. That's for sure.
Gets past it though and moves into the little wall bounce section right here.
And there's a nice cycle skip if he gets it, but nope, barely misses it. You can actually get a close wall bounce there to evade the dust bunnies.
Very nice hypers there from Revo to clear the room super quickly. Now about to move into the Zero fight here.
Yeah, Sonic Blaster already started the fight. So Shiro has actually become mad after Battleline actually insulted him. So you can see whose fault that is again. And he will chase you and try to hit you in the face.
So he's still kind of nice about it because he does give us warnings about when he's about to attack. As you can see by him starting to flash and setting out the lightning there. Wow, Revo with that super speed to the room. That was really cool.
I've never seen that before.
So as we sort of mentioned before the race started, Revo has a lot of really cool strats that he goes for. So he might actually just like go through this room so quick that the time loss earlier won't even matter that much. Sonic is now in the final room of Shiro actually, which is a really annoying room. It's pretty long and has quite a few ways they can just kill you randomly at the end. So yeah, Sonic there with an unfortunate death, as we sort of see in this side of the stream. Revo now also in the final section of Zero here, making up some of that lost time from earlier.
Let's see if you can nail the entry cycle.
And
of course, cycles might vary a bit upon respawning, so you actually see runners re-enter rooms, but of course in this fight that's not possible. But he nailed the entry cycles, so it's all good.
Sonic now also finishing up with their swords. So now we're going to Golden Bridge, and there's a couple new mechanics, as there always are. This time around we will see some clouds, which act as trampolines. We will see wind, that will be wind, and push you around.
Weather-based stuff, actually.
Sorry?
It's just weather-based, you know. Wind, annoying, snowballs can be fun if you throw them, but if you get hit in the face by them, it's not really nice.
Yeah, usually snowballs in real life don't actually kill you like they sort of do in this game.
True.
Then we have these bubbles that actually has an extra dash as well. And there are several rooms here with really cool fast strats. I know Revo did one, an auto-scroll skip a little bit later, which is without a certain block, so that's really cool if he does it again. And there are a couple of ultras you can use, a couple of corner boosts down there, so just keep an eye on Revo's screen because this can be quite spicy if he decides to go for some risky strats.
It's always nice here, just neutral jumps, you don't even have to hold climb to get up. So, always feels good to do.
That's a little spike wall jump, which we didn't talk about earlier, but it's basically just doing a wall jump from underneath the spike so that you're moving away when you hit them, because you can't actually die from the spikes when you are moving away. Decides to go for the block for the outscroll skip, which is still a lot faster than not doing the skip.
Still does the skip with the bunny hop though. There's also a version where you just do an extended hyper, but you have to wait a bit longer before you're able to reach. So it's still quite fast to do this version.
Sonic also in the spectrum section here, moving through those the obstacles there.
Actually requires some ducking as well, because otherwise you'll hit your head in the ceiling.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Revo is doing very well here in this film race so far. Definitely looking to make up that lost time that he did earlier.
Yeah, definitely.
Sonic got past the auto skip as well and is now following Revo. Still fairly close actually, even with this good goal ridge from Revo.
Oh, I like that strat a lot.
Yeah, that strat is incredibly cool.
So usually you just see people dash over, but he does a bunch of neutral jumps with the wind in his face to preserve his dash until the last moment.
So Revo now in the Harshman section here, where normally you're not able to almost walk at all, but because we have these movement text, we can still fly through these screens fairly quickly.
Like, that's a nice snowball skip there. See? Goes for a bunch of...
With a little ultra there as well to just go really fast through this room. Oh, Revo with that speed. Yeah, Revo is... and these strats are really cool.
I think he's feeling it after that resort and old side. He's doing much better already.
Yeah, he's getting a bit more serious, I think, and just nailing out trick after trick here with a... What's that, 258? Is that what it was?
Let me check.
I think that's 258 is British physique. Incredibly good.
Sub 3 is a really good like amazing achievement. There's very few people who've done that.
Yeah, so now we're going into the Mirror Temple and of course new mechanics. So we're going to see dash blocks which move when you dash. We're going to see red bubbles that make you dash infinitely until you dash out of them or hit a wall. And a bit later we'll meet some very nice friends that everyone loves, and I'm sure no one has anything bad to say about them ever.
No, they're our nicest friends. They always want to hug you.
Hug you like a... what's that snake that hugs you until you die?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Kind of.
Is it King Cobra? I feel like it's King
sure,
Cobra.
Some sort of snake.
Chat, I'm sure someone knows it in chat. Please let me know what snake hugs you until you die.
He actually got the cutscene skip here.
Ooh, nice. That's a fairly precise jump because you will stop going for this skip as well. Oh, doesn't get the speed from the block. Second try? Nope.
He's gonna retry.
That is also a fairly precise trick here where you can get... You have a frame or two to get hyper off from that block, and he gets it second try or third try. Actually.
And the corner boost as well. Room.
Super nice there by Revo. Just in, I think that was a third try or something, which is incredibly cool.
The moment he got the reverse hyper, he immediately got the corner boost after it as well. That's really hard.
Constrictor Cobras. Thanks, Bobo.
Yeah.
Tries to go for double bubble skip, but just barely missed it.
And sometimes it's hard to judge how tight these jumps are because he makes them look easy, but you really have a few pixels to work with.
Yeah. So even for Revo, these strats are actually going to be quite hard. Sonic now also moving into Mirror Temple, a little bit more behind now than before, but still keeping fairly good pace with Revo, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, 15-minute entries, not bad at all.
Absolutely not.
Oh, are these the friends you mentioned?
Oh, it's our friends, the Seekers, that definitely don't want to kill you in any way. So we're going to start off, we're playing as a Seeker moving into this section, which can be kind of frustrating to speedrun because these Seekers like to bounce around quite low when hitting things. Rev, of course, having done it quite enough, gets through it quickly. Boa Constrictor, yeah, that's probably right.
That's the one. There's actually kind of a scarf kind of things that are called boas, which behave in a similar way, except the strangling part, of course. Yeah,
hopefully. That'd be a kind of shit. Can it be a kind of bad scarf if we were to kill you every time? Oh, Rev with that sick spike jump strat. That's really cool.
Spike jump into wall bounce off the moving platform. There's actually an ultra strat here as well. Barely misses the corner boost.
So these Seekers now are going to home in on us, on our location, and we're going to see the runners use them in pretty cool ways, manipulating sort of where they go to pick up these coins for us to unlock switches. So both they can collect coins both when alive and when being stomped on, and also the explosion when they respawn. So for example, there you see that the respawn or the respawn explosion will actually take that coin. Yeah.
Yep. And so far, this unraveling has looked really clean from Revo, and he's already moving into search.
Now we're coming up on search skip, which is the biggest skip by far in this run. Skip about between 1 and 3 minutes, depending on how good you would be otherwise. You would normally have to get a couple of keys, but of course, if you're going super fast, you can just do that as well. That's really cool.
That was a bunch of big bunny hops into wave dash, I think. And he didn't need that.
No, I didn't even take a wave dash, but yeah. So usually what you would do and get is get in that little corner and do a extended reverse dash jump. But he just does ultras, bunny hops, and holy cow, that's really cool.
Sonic Blaster now moving into the cutscene skip room of Unraveling, where he can start meeting the friendly Seekers that they are.
And now we have another friend who's actually a nice friend, just trapped in an unfortunate situation here in the crystal. So Theo here, you can't actually dash when you hold him, but you can dash before you pick him up and conserve that momentum which we're going to see happen a lot. And you can conserve the momentum from any sort of dashes. So you can go really slow, but you usually go really slow, but you can go really fast if you know how to sort of manipulate it, I guess.
Yeah, and Revo is one of the few runners who is known for using ultras in the Theo section, so he might pull out some crazy fast strats here. It's always fun to see what he does in his Theo section. And right there you use the momentum of the dash block to add that to your hyper and go just through the room immediately. There actually was an ultra right there.
So now he's moving into the very final room here with the eyeball sending out pulses, but he's just going through this room at lightning speed, hitting the eye there. Very nice by Revo. And Sonic Blaster now coming up with the to the surge skip. Hopefully we can see him do it, because I'm assuming he's gonna go for the normal reverse hyper strats.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. Of course, surge skip. No need for those keys, we just skip it. That saves so much time. But
Now
the real question is,
oh, yeah.
how many tries do you think he's gonna take for leg skip?
I think he's gonna fail it 4 times and then go the normal way. Just because.
Just because.
So let's see.
He can.
Just because he's Revo, sort of. Let's see what happens.
That's one.
Just barely misses it there. See him going for it again.
Third try.
I get the second try. Nice. And third try. So
Yeah.
do you want to go ahead and talk about the mechanics of reflection really quickly?
Yeah, of course. You see here we have these feathers. You can move omnidirectional in them, so it's usually recommended to use the analog stick, but because it actually does not slow you down in compared to when you turn with keyboard. And other than that, you have these crush blocks, also nicknamed Kevin blocks. And if you dash on either side on them, they will move in that direction until they either hit a wall or you die, basically. Just, yeah, until you hit a wall or crush you in between you and a wall. And they're named Kevin blocks after the good boy who voiced these blocks with his own voice, Kevin from Power Up Audio.
Yeah. So we also see there's going to be quite a lot of cool movements here with the momentum from Kevin blocks, because as you probably have realized at this point, all of the blocks that move in this game can transfer a huge amount of momentum to Madeline. It's going to be probably used in a section a little bit later in the stage as well for some really a really fast and cool section.
Yeah. And here, was it Hollows? Those areas called?
Yes, I believe so.
There's a different path you can take, up or down, and the fastest route is mostly agreed on, except for the final fork in the road, which some people actually go up instead of down, but otherwise everyone just follows the same route, because especially in some rooms they can be really slow if you take the wrong turn.
Yeah, and some of these fast rooms can actually be like a whole lot easier than the really slow rooms also, which is a bit interesting. But
yeah, I think actually the up route is slightly faster here, but it's really hard to perform instead of
to actually get faster, you have to perform it like tasks perfectly with a couple of really precise jumps. So,
and if you bumper
for
boost,
arcade, this is usually seen as fire or as faster.
I haven't actually mentioned the bumpers yet,
Go ahead.
which of course act like pinball bumpers basically. And if you hold away on the frame you hit it, you can actually get a speed boost out of it, which was the bumper boost I mentioned. And Revo is actually gonna go for a feather skip here.
Revo with that crazy strat using the bumpers. Most people just want to avoid those at all costs, but Revo, of course, showing off how much control he has over this game and just goes straight for them. That is really cool.
You see Sonic Blaster finishing up Chapter 5, moving into Reflection. Still keeping really good pace, actually.
I think he's about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes-ish behind at this point. I can't really tell what Revo's time is. But
Yeah,
I think
around 3 minutes. And,
which is really, really good, especially considering just how good Revo can be. So Sonic is also having a fairly good run, it seems.
And they're around 9 minutes apart in PB, so only 3 minutes is amazing. You see actually Revo going for some swag strats here.
Revo. So now he's going to do the really nice battle line boost here. Gets a huge amount of speed to that Kevin block, skips the cutscene and just smacks right into battle line at the start of that fight.
And now we have the boss fight of Chapter 6, where we just try to get close to that line and slap her in the face because we don't agree with what she wants. We want to climb this mountain after all.
Yeah. So it's not really anything new coming up here, but there's going to be some moving blocks and a lot of headbutting into bad lane happening.
Yeah, and avoiding a few lasers and fireballs.
Yeah, there are of course some cool and fast strats. So just you might want to watch this because it's fairly impressive usually.
Yeah. There's a few ultra strats that are snuck in to the run recently, and I fully expect Revo to at least try them.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he doesn't go for any ultras here.
There's one right here actually. Misses the ultra.
That's been unfortunate, but still goes Sedgwill very quickly. Sonic also coming into the hollow section with the forks in the road. So it looks like he is about 3.5 minutes behind Revo at this point, if I can tell the timers correctly.
Yeah, can be rough to read sometimes. Because these players, even though they're streaming for us, the quality of their own game is the highest priority, of course, because we want to see them at their best.
And the part where Revo's in has quite a lot of moving particles, so bitrate might be declining a bit, but still, at least we see him moving so fast with his level, so it's entertaining nonetheless. Doing a little bit of an cheeky ultra there, really nice.
Oh
so,
yeah, that's
cool
nice.
There, that's really cool. So now he is gonna see that Battleline sort of gets a little bit extra mad, he goes Super Saiyan and decides to just get telekinesis for no reason.
Ah, why not? Oh,
Gets crushed by that block right in the start there.
the very first block he sees just get crushed. I mean, I would be surprised if suddenly all the blocks start moving. But still some really cool strats you can do here.
Actually, this is probably the, at least until now, easily the hardest section because of these moving platforms, but oof, Revo just making it look so damn easy. Moving through this at lightning speed here.
It looked like he did get the same cycle you would casually, but of course the swag matters a lot here.
Revo is truly all about the swag, it feels like. Or about 90% about the swag, 10% about the time.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And of course, I'm not going to complain because it makes for an extremely entertaining run.
Mm-hmm.
Finishing up here with the Battleline fight. And now they're going to join forces together and give us an extra dash, but more importantly, make our hair pink.
Yeah, I didn't know you could dye your hair that fast, but apparently you can.
It's that new
And
hair
now
dye
you have to
effect,
dye.
apparently.
Yeah, well, it might be one of those types who switches hair color frequently, I don't know. I'm not judging. And he finishes with a 6 and something reflection. I couldn't really tell the other digits.
I think this is 613.
Something, yeah, low 6 at least.
Very good still. So now we're moving into Summit. So story-wise, we have fallen down to the bottom of the mountain, and now it's time to climb up this mountain once and for all. So we're gonna go through each of the chapters here fairly quickly and see their mechanics used again. But now, since we have 2 dashes, it's gonna be a lot more tricky and a lot more interesting.
Oh, Rev actually missing the wall bounce to get up to the platform here. But yeah, reflection is actually at the very base of the mountain, so you start with that, and after that you go through chapter 1 through 5 again before you arrive at the real summit.
Sonic now also moving into the Battleline fight here, so a couple minutes behind, which to be honest is expected since Revo is just that good. But Sonic has been keeping fairly good pace, so could see him getting a fairly good time still.
Yeah. Furthermore, Reflection and Summit are the toughest levels by far of the run. They are the longest and together form almost like half of the run itself. And a lot of players actually struggle with these chapters. So it's not unlikely that he might lose a little more time compared to Revo here.
Yeah, that's usually the case. The big time differences are really in these longer chapters, of course.
Yeah, and then sometimes there's Resort doing weird stuff. I've had some experiences with Resort, so...
Who hasn't at this point?
Pretty much.
So now coming up on 1000 meter section here, which is one of my favorite sections, and I see him using these stream blocks really efficiently. A lot of jumping out of blocks because it's slightly faster than Goose's might. We're probably also going to see, hopefully we'll see some hypers out of these stream blocks, which is a very hard but very, very cool strat, which gives you a whole ton of speed.
Yeah. And together that just makes it that you move so fast through them and you feel like you can fly, literally, because of these stream blocks, as you can see in this screen over here. It just feels so good to do.
Yeah, definitely one of the most satisfying things to nail in this run. Yeah, he's using a lot of hypers there to get so much momentum out of those stream blocks. It's really nice.
Yeah, he nailed them all actually. That's impressive.
Yeah, the hypers to the dream blocks are fairly precise, so it's cool to see him do it like that. Sonic now, yeah, he finished up. No, he's going to second phase of the balance fight, right?
Yeah.
So also finishing that fairly soon. Revo now in the third number section, and this next couple rooms has, or in about 3 rooms, there's an extremely spicy strat. It's a lot of chains ultras, which I would be very surprised if he doesn't go for. So we'll have to keep an eye on his screen there.
Yeah, and be careful because you might miss it if you just blink. These rooms, especially for newer runners, are considered real challenges because they're long, a bunch of cycles. And you see, even Revo can struggle with it sometimes. So that just tells you how tight these jumps might be. Plus, I think he's going a bit too much swag with the clutch save, actually.
Yeah, it was actually a really nice save. That little pixel he had left, luckily. So, next room here now, let's keep an eye on this, because this is spicy. Chains those ultras super perfectly, goes for the hyper. Oh, no, he dashes into that block, unfortunately. Second try around, though, goes for not quite as many ultras, but still really nicely done there by Revo on the second try.
A death cycle backup, actually. You see a lot of players just go out of the screen and re-enter to get the entry cycle again, but Revo just has a backup ready whenever he wants.
Yeah, it was really nice. Sonic now has finished up the Ballerina fight there and has leveled up. So we'll see him joining Revo on the summit level very shortly.
I'm not sure what his summit IL PB is, but if he can get a sub 11, he might actually get a PB here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sub 11 is certainly doable for like his
he
PB
can actually
time.
do it if he gets if his PB is what's on speed.com. He just needs to get like an 11-10ish. So we could definitely see a PB there from Sonic.
Oh yeah, right. It's a high 40. Yeah, and then it's fairly doable.
Yeah. So Revo now in the Golden Ridge section here with a couple more ultra strats. It's that now he's gonna go for probably looking for this auto scroll skip here. So another use of momentum from blocks to clear a huge little ball of spikes there, and a wall bounce at the end.
Yeah, you can surprise a lot of people with that wall bounce because they will not expect it to be possible. Oh, he sees some swag, of course. It's Revo after all.
Indeed. Sonic now on the 0 meter section here, and Revo is about to do the last couple of moves here of 2000, and next up is 2500,000, which when watching top runners is definitely my favorite part because there are a whole. That was a really nice save there by Revo actually. Almost missed that. But 2500 has a lot of really cool skips and strats almost in every single room, so
Yeah.
you want to look out for this one because Revo will probably go for all of them.
You can lose a bunch of time if you fail, but if you nail it the first try, it looks really cool. So let's hope he just does not die and that I did not curse it right here.
Sonic now also finishes up the 500 meter.
Misses corner boost there. But still, everything fine so far. Oh, that's interesting.
Going for key skip here now, which is you do a couple of wall jumps there underneath the spikes in order to skip having to go down and get a red bubble. And of course, a little bit of extra swag there from Revo. It's been doing that in almost every race so far.
Yeah. You have to wait for the door to open, so why not, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Upcoming on first, a really tight fit.
Oh, just barely missed it there. Gets a second try though, and now
the most important skip in the game.
the door skip. Gets his first try like it's nothing. So you have a couple things to work with there, and it saves about a second. Really not worth going for, but of course it looks damn cool.
So that's why we go for it.
More importantly, it's a meme, so why not go for it?
Yeah.
And Sonic is now finished up with the 500-meter section going into 1,000 meters. I'd say he's still on a fairly good PB pace, actually, so
Yeah,
very
certainly.
cool to see.
As you said,
Hopefully,
he just
unlike
needs,
earlier, he'll actually keep his nerves calm during the last sections.
those nerves can get in the way quite easily. But yeah, judging from his pace, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So Revo now on the 3K section, the last final stretch here with the checkpoints. Currently there's a downdraft which gives him higher gravity. Of course, him being Revo, he just does not give a single damn. So he's just gonna a single boot that works. So he's gonna be flying through these levels fairly quickly still, utilizing wall bounces quite often to get extra height on his jumps still.
Yeah, and some cheeky reverse dashes to move just slightly faster. There's also usually a moment where the tension is so high, because if a runner gets here and it's not a race, it usually means they're on PB pace. So they like counting down the flags as we move to number 1 and eventually the very top. See Sonic Blaster now in the 1500 meter section in the first of the 2 long rooms. Looks to be, yeah, he just cleared it. First try as well. It was really nice.
Very nice. I'm gonna go into the Ultra room. I'm not sure if he's gonna go for Ultra Strats. I'm not sure if I'll be able to tell. Well, he gets a death in that room, it looks like, so he's gonna have to retry there.
That looked like a bunch of ultras to me.
Yeah, I think he did clear with Ultras. Nevertheless, he did clear it, so he's moving on from there. Revo in going to flag 10 now in the very last stretch of this race.
Yeah, with the upward wind feeling mighty floaty. And the wind does like to kill his bit rate as well. And of course, the higher we get, the closer we get to the summit, the harder these individual sections tend to become. And especially flag 3 and 2 can be really brutal for runs. And he looks to be on a pace for a high 33?
Yeah, looks like it.
With considering how the first few chapters went, is very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Sonic now in the 2K section here. Still looking very much on PB pace, so I'll have to check back with him after Revo has finished up with the last couple of flags here.
Yeah. And of course, apart from possibly getting a PB, finishing with a great time is really important here, as if you do advance, your finish times will be averaged and used for seeding in the bracket phase that moves along it. So you really do want to finish every race as well as you can possibly can.
Who almost gets the classic Revo retry there, but he manages to finish the race anyway.
Almost a Revo retry, but we're good. Whew.
So congratulations, Revo, for that, winning that race. And now our eyes are going to be focused here on Sonic Blaster to hopefully get his PB.
33-43. Nothing to scoff at, but as Revo said himself, so far his worst run of the 4 he's done in this tournament. So that might up his average a little bit. So do we happen to have audio from Sonic Blaster?
I'm not sure. Hopefully we'll get that fixed. Give me a second.
You see him move through the 2,000 meter section here. And he's actually in the final room of this section. So he has to find Bedline, and she will throw you up, replenish your dash, and make sure you get through. And on to the next part of the summit.
Oh.
And he arrived at 2,500 meters. At a pass time of just under 36 minutes, and that's really good. And he could technically still PB pace if he does this section in like a minute, and then the other part, the 3,000 meters, usually takes around 3 minutes, maybe 4. So it's more than likely possible.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like we do not have audio, so we're gonna have to do without for now. But
just pretend that sounds everywhere.
dun, 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 dun. Is that helpful at all?
You want a beat to accompany?
Please no. So Sonic now is gonna go into the a couple of rooms left here before the 3K, and gets that skip first try there between the spikes. Very nice. Looks like he goes for door skip. I can't tell if he's going for it. Is he gonna be alive? He does get door skip.
Got door skip.
Very nice. He actually does get door skip there. So that's really nice. That 1 second might be the difference between PBing and not. So we'll see how the rest of this goes now. As he is finishing up with 2500 and moving into 3K. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Sonic has been having injury issues. So yeah, it's been a bit hard to watch, but he's still on PB pace, so that's what we're going to focus on here.
Yeah, just try to maybe get Rev in for some words about his run, but it seems like
unfortunately
he expired.
Rev actually has to go to work, so he doesn't have time for an interview.
Oh, that's too bad.
So we'll have to just talk about Sonic Blaster's race a bit here, or run a bit here.
As he is actually getting there. He's right now at flag, is that 24? Just based off memory, it's kind of hard to distinguish the individual numbers here, but he's still moving along at a really good pace. I'm impressed so far by his run.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been really, really good. You might be looking at possibly a high 40s to, or high 40 to low 31 here. So we'll see how the rest of this 3K plans out. Plays out, I mean.
And it looks like his internet has been really rough on him for this whole run. So I hope that has not affected his gameplay, and so far it doesn't seem like it has. So that's at least a plus.
So while we're going through these next couple of checkpoints here, we still have races going, of course, pretty much all day, all evening, wherever you are. So next race is going to be Davide versus Mel Cooken over on Speed Gaming 5. So be sure to head over here after we see Sonic's PB for even more Celeste races. And then after that, we have Ian versus Bird Prey versus Less Than Perfect, which is going to be a really good race, I think. A couple more good ones just throughout the night. So be sure to stay tuned to the different Speed Gaming channels, and I'm sure the commentators will guide you to wherever you need to go for even more Celeste speedruns here.
Yeah, this is the first week of the tournament, and we'll have already had a bunch of races scheduled. Obviously, with a 128-man tournament, you're expecting a lot of races, but there's many people who just want to get going immediately and start getting racing. I also really like that a bunch of the people here in this racing Discord have been doing practice races with each other to get ready for this tournament, and as a result, we've seen a bunch of PBs already.
Yeah, it's been really, really cool to be part of this because even though I haven't even raced yet, I've improved my PB a lot just by joining these random practice races that have been happening. So it's been a lot of fun.
Around a minute or 4, if I remember.
Sorry?
4 minutes already that you've chopped off the PB.
Yep, something like that. In like a week and a half. So that's really nice for me. I'm happy. But anyway, so now we're on the last 5 checkpoints here, just hitting the 40-minute mark. So Sonic's PB was a high 42. So it's he's on incredibly good pace here. We might actually see him sub 41 and just skip everything of 41 in his PB here.
According to my info, his PB is a 40-42. So in that case, he's really close here. As we are in flag 3 now, very close to flag 2.
Oh, it's a 40-42. I'm sorry.
So that means he's like seconds off his PB when he's nearing flag 1. This is really close.
Oh, and he has to do a retry there at flag 2. That's really unfortunate.
I think that might be it. And yes, he just passed this for his time.
Yeah, my mistake. I had read the time wrong on the leaderboards. So yeah, his PB is a 40-42. So he's just missed by a little bit. So it's still an incredibly good time for him.
Yeah, still incredibly consistent to be so close to your PB.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what you need in this tournament. With a 41 flat, he will finish this race.
So that is that race very much done. So congratulations, Revo, for an amazing showcase there of a bunch of really cool strats and some incredible saves as well, as he mentions himself in chat. Sonic shows that he can be incredibly consistent as well. So a very good race, I think.
Yes, exactly. And of course, it's really tough beating Revo, being the second in the world. So just focusing on your own time is usually a good way to go. And you see Sonic Blaster just doing exactly that, staying so close to his PB. And I think, yeah, I think he'll make it into bracket. So we'll definitely see more of him.
And we will all be looking forward to that. So let me bring the schedule up. So we have the next race in 10 minutes over on Speed Gaming 5. So be sure to head over there for more Celeste gameplay. It's going to be Devilay versus Malkaken, commentated by Flesh and Selmas. It's going to be good. A lot of fun, I think. And more races throughout the evening and day here. So sure to stay tuned. And I think that's all we have for now. So we'll see you in 10 minutes over on Speed Gaming 5.
Yep. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you there.